A year ago, I was out of college. I was still looking for a job unsuccessfully, but I was applying and interviewing at a job that I really did want. And here I am 1 year later, and I got the job. And now I'm a SOC analyst with a year of experience. And I want to look back and reflect on what that year has been like. In the last year, I've done certifications. I've gone to cybersecurity conferences, been a part of the community, really grown into my role at work. And as someone new to the field, I wanted to give some honest reflection, some honest insight about what this last year has been like and how it compared to my expectations going into it, how it compared to the assumptions I made and what I thought the field would be like. Your experience is going to depend on who you are, where you came from, who you work for, what you do for your job, all of that. But a year ago, I was like really obsessed. I really wanted to break into this field. I was doing CTFs online. I was stalking the Reddit cybersecurity forum. I was watching YouTube videos. And that built up a lot of expectations and assumptions and questions that I had about the field and what it's actually like to work in the field. For example, I don't remember exactly where I read this stat, but I read something like SOC analysts only last 12 to 18 months in the role. I had that in my head. There's a lot of talk of burnout and fatigue, and I was honestly kind of worried, and I thought this is something that would be really prevalent. After a year, I can kind of say that no, in my experience and what I do for work and where I work and who I work for, I don't really experience burnout the way that I thought I would. It's not like it's been 12 months and then I'm ready for like a career change and I can't take it anymore. And I'm sure there are security operations centers out there where 12 months is the regular turnover rate, but where I work, I'm lucky to say that that's not the case. Have I experienced burnout? For sure, absolutely. Have I experienced alert fatigue? That's another common topic. Yeah, definitely. There are going to be times where you see repeat alerts, where you see things more than once, and that's something that you kind of just have to deal with as it comes, and it hasn't been a huge issue for me, at least not the way that I thought it would be. Is it like the movies? Is it like the media? Is it like YouTube? Broadly speaking, no. Definitely not like the movies, definitely not like the media. Often not exactly like what some people on YouTube post. It's a regular job. It's a regular career, just like any other job, but I think it depends on like how interested you are, how passionate you are, and certainly the type of work that you're doing. Sometimes, yeah, like especially the offensive security, sometimes if you're learning, you're hacking, like sometimes some of that stuff does feel a little bit movie-ish. Like maybe for a split second, like at the end of a project and you finally get this exploit to work or something like that. Yeah, sometimes it can feel like that. And I think there's something to say about doing cybersecurity as a job when the stakes are kind of higher, when there's actually something on the line in like a production environment versus when you're at home learning or just doing like a try hack me. The stakes are a little higher when you're like getting paid to actually protect something. And I think in a sense that sort of makes it a little bit more like the media, but no, it's not like the movies. And one general sentiment, one general aspect of the field that I kind of had in my mind based on watching videos online and hearing people talk about it, I kind of thought that I had to know everything before I got in this field. And I thought that the industry was huge and there's like so many topics that you have to master this and this, you have to have done this and that, you have to be this and you have to have gotten that. And if you haven't, you're not qualified to work in cybersecurity. And after a year, the reality is that you don't have to know everything. I'm speaking like specifically to the entry level, like the people who are starting out, who are new to the field, who are just getting interested. You don't have to know everything. There are so many different subsections and sub niches, offense, defense, whether you want to focus on the type of attack, like physical pen testing or exploiting a web app, writing code, analyzing code. You can pick anything. You could focus by attack surface like email and phishing or endpoint security and EDRs. You could focus on the policy. You could focus on the infrastructure and deployment. You could focus on the alerts themselves. There's so much to do in this field, and it's unfair to put that on yourself, to think that you have to know every single aspect, that you have to have experience in every single aspect, especially at the entry level. Something I've learned is that after a year, I can definitely say that your mindset, your ability to learn, your willingness to learn, your ability to be taught at this point is more important than what you know, because starting out in the entry level, you're not going to know everything. There's going to be a ton of stuff you have to learn, a ton of stuff that you're going to have to figure out. There's going to be so many things that are brand new to you, and it's more important that you're able to figure out things that you don't know, that you're able to find an answer to something that you don't know. One thing I can confirm after a year is that this industry is extremely fast-paced, right? It's every single day in the news. There's a new hack, there's a new exploit, somebody's been breached, there's a new critical patch. This field is always growing, always changing, always moving forwards. And I anticipated the pace, but it was honestly more surprising than I thought. Like I said, it's every single day. There's some huge new hack, there's some new zero-day exploit, there's a new proof of concept for this attack. And it's like a job in itself, just keeping up with the news, right? And I almost want to say you get a little desensitized, but I don't think that's the right word. I think it's more so you develop like the discerning capability of when to pay attention, like when something really applies to you, when something is just not important enough for your energy or your time, and when stuff is just important for you to know about. After a year, I can say one thing that I would do differently is be more involved in the community more often and more quickly. Over the past year, I've attended 2 different cybersecurity conferences, and the conversations I've had, the people I've met have been awesome. They've been very welcoming, a lot different than reading articles in Reddit and reading the news and watching videos on YouTube from people I've never met. Those conferences are not just for the industry veterans, and I wish I would have attended sooner and attended more often. One thing I want to do better in this next year is take more of a part in my local cybersecurity community. And I think if you have any interest, if you have a little interest, if you have some passion, if you're just getting started or want to learn more about the field, cybersecurity conferences are one of the best resources for you. You will learn so much, you will meet so many people, be able to participate in so many great activities. And I honestly didn't really expect, and I've come to learn over this past year that the in-person interactive, the conference, cybersecurity community, all that is a lot more valuable than I thought it would be, honestly. And looking back from the last year, I think I'm doing pretty good, right? I still have the job. No. In all seriousness, I'm doing well in my job and I'm growing in my role. And I think one of the biggest driving factors that I've tried to cultivate, that I've tried to intentionally fuel, is my passion for cybersecurity, my passion for this field. You will only ever achieve your best work That's something that you're passionate about. I don't think this has to be like a world ending, you can't live without it. But if you can't at least like get a little excited, a little interested, if you can lean into the things that make you excited and happy and on the edge of your seat, like working on something. So it has really served me, especially as a newcomer to this field, to try a lot of different things, but really pay attention to when something interests me, like seriously take initiative, do projects, like go home and learn about, chase those things that make you really interested, because that's where the fun is. And that is what has allowed me to do my best work, to work the longest hours, to get the most done, to do the most, to produce the most business impact, has been in the things that I cared about, the things that I was interested in. And there is a little bit of like intuition and intention required to go out and find those things and to kind of look for them. They're not always going to just come to you. And if you are in cybersecurity, if you are looking to break into the field, leave a comment and let me know how you feel, what you think about the field. And thanks for watching.